Welcome to TaleLearnCode. Here there will be tales about software development, learning from each other, code to build solutions. And now your host, Chad Green.
There we go. Oh, green screen's still in the way here. Let's fix that. There we go. Well, no. Green screen's being difficult on me tonight. Oh, goodness. There we go. All right. Which reminds me, I didn't turn on my lights. All right, now I'm ready. And welcome everyone. Hope everyone's having an awesome day. Hope you all been, time for the weekend, time to relax, or be really busy, all depending on what you got going on this weekend. Hey Jack, how's it going? And Ryan, how's it going? Hope we all are doing well. I definitely have had a fun week. I'll tell you what. Been really busy at work, but it's like a really good busy, right? It's you're getting a lot of things done. Things are happening. It's a good week at work. So, all right, I'm gonna get right into it. I said I'm gonna get right into it. Actually, I want to talk about something first, real quick. Let me go to here. I want to talk about this 30 days to learn it. And I'm going to do some more stuff with this, but not today. Maybe I'll spend a little bit of time on this next week. But, or probably the week after. But, so this is something Microsoft has launched. So it's you see this, Cloud Skills Challenge. So basically, it's a set of challenges set together, obviously to do over 30 days, although you can complete it faster in 30 days. But a set of challenges, should take 30 days. And then the big deal here, and I want to make sure I say this right. And I'm glad I looked this up. So you can be eligible for 50% off the cost of Microsoft certification exam by completing your challenges within 30 days. And I think, and I'm not seeing it here. Let's see here. I think you can get up to 2 of those 50 off vouchers. Okay. This is I was gonna say when they talked to the MVPs, they were still trying to decide how they were gonna do this. So they were gonna do one for every 6 months, which was one of the ideas they were talking about. But I tell you what, I saw a little bit of this, but I wanna actually go through it myself. I could have before, but it looks really interesting. I mean, you got areas listed by, goals, right? So, Azure AI fundamentals, data science, 365 developer, solutions architect, developer, IoT developer, platform, and DevOps engineer. So, sure enough, I don't know, we might take a couple streams and maybe work through the Azure solutions architect, right? That would be the one that would kind of go towards me, or maybe, hold on a second. Really, buddy? My dog can be lazy. He's playing with one of those like rope toys, and on the couch, and he dropped it. And so it was like that was his little bark of telling me, "Hey, I need you to pick it up for me." Like, you're so lazy. I'm looking at this now. With that being said, I need to resend out some an email to some folks over at Microsoft because we're trying to work some things into this. But so this is coming out. You'll probably hear a little bit about this next week. Of course, the next week is Microsoft Ignite, so there'll probably be a little bit about it next week. But basically, the email that they sent MVPs today basically said they're really going to start. It's launched, it's out there, it's available. We're allowed to talk about it now. but they're really going to start pushing for it, not next week, but the week after, right? Just knowing that with Ignite, there's other things coming up with Ignite, so they're not going to get the attention that they would want. So sure enough, so here is the link to that. And I'll be talking more about this. I want to try this out. I want to at least try this out a little bit. So because not unusual on this channel to get people to ask, where can they learn things, and I think this will be a good resource. So, all right, let's get into some code. I have gotten further. Oh, I didn't open the solution yet. I have gotten further. Oh, and I should say I apologize for the late start tonight. We're starting about a half hour late today. Wife and I went out to dinner. Had a really nice seafood dinner. It's Lent, so it's Friday. Had a nice seafood dinner, and then actually when I got home, my internet was a little bit funky for a couple minutes, so that slowed me getting everything up and running. All right, so at any rate, I did get some work done yesterday. I was doing some work on this yesterday. I almost streamed yesterday, but I decided not to and just kind of focus a little bit. Well, and I was doing some other things alongside with it. But you'll actually notice in this infrastructure, we have several classes and everything in here. So, we were working on the Gremlin Handler, because remember we were trying to figure out what to call this thing. And I was just starting to, this method right here. I think I had typed the method name, and I think it was as far as we got on Wednesday. But I now have one, I figured out how I'm going to do this. Two, I've been implementing this, right? It's just a matter of taking the time to do this. So here's the way how this is working, right? And again, this is going to... so I'm kind of doing this similar to what you would see, and actually I kind of wonder about the name get first or default. But I think that's what I'm going to call it, because I'm going to have a get list also. But at any rate, what was I going to say? Oh, so... so in here, I'm passing in, the type. So what type I want back, right? So do I want, sets? Do I want parts? Or a set or a part or what have you. And I pass in the Gremlin query. And again, now this is really more of a helper. I will end, my APIs will actually have the syntax in them built up that way. But, so what happens here, we'll do the submit request, and there was some questions about why am I using dynamic, and it's because I don't have a choice. That's what Gremlin.net sends me back. So I'm getting this dynamic result set back, and I'm gonna look to see if there's any results in there. Actually, I am doing okay. Just checking that. You feel as if I generate at least $350K a year? Well, if you're talking about for my company, I probably generate more than that for my company. But I definitely don't make $350,000 a year. And hey, Ivan, how you doing this evening? So, all right, so then, we're going to see if there's any results, and if there is, then we're going to go for each of them. Again, I do a return default because just for any reason, because we did the any, there should be something in here, but, wanted to have, again, catch it. And plus, if I didn't do that, I would actually, if I don't have this return default right here, I will get, oh, that's right. I won't get that because it will just fall through. All right. Well, good. I won't need that one. Okay, cool. All right. So then we get in here. Now, here's the way how I decided to do this. And I'd love to hear if anyone has a different opinion here. But I'm going to take this. I'm going to so in this result, which again it's a dynamic, right? I'm going to serialize it as JSON, and this is actually, I mean, this is pure documentation, right? That's what or per documentation. That's what the documentation shows to do. And I look at this base object, right? And sure enough, this Gremlin base object, here's what it has in it. And I need to add some documentation to this, but it has ID, label, and type. That's the only things it has in it. Because again, if you remember, I closed some browser windows. I had it open. Oh well, if you remember, the JSON comes back at the top level had 4 things. It had ID, label, type, and then properties. All right. But these are the 3 things that are consistent, right? Because the properties are consistent, but what's inside the properties is not, right? So I'm getting back that object. And then, again, if it's not null, right? Because potentially there could be an error, or it's, who knows. But then I'm going to look at the label of this base object. And I'm going to do a switch. And notice what I've done. Now this is the same thing. Let's take a look at this real quick. This is the same thing. This return, base object.label switch, right? This is the same thing as saying switch base object label, and then saying case Gremlins labels category, and then return category category vertex dot deserializes category JSON. All right. ST. Okay. Other than the fact, this is also a heading color part in the default, but these are really the same thing. And you notice it even tells me, well, it's unreachable, but that's a whole different problem. But that's if I add a default return default, right? They're unreturnable because I returned out of here. That's why it's doing that. But at any rate, you kind of see what's going on here, right? They're the same amount of code. Basically what happens, though, this is a newer syntax. It's a little bit less code, right? It's using the lambda characters and so forth, right? So anyway, so if it's category, then we're going to do category vertex dot deserializes category, right? And here's how I made this work. So in here, I pass in the JSON, right? The string, so the string of JSON, and I'm gonna deserialize it again. So I've already deserialized it once. I'm gonna deserialize it again. It's really not the most effective way, but again, because I can get several different kinds of objects, this makes sense to do it this way. So in here, I'm gonna this time I'm deserialize this as a category vertex. Notice I'm actually deserializing in a method I'm in, right? This is basically the factory pattern, where it's building something for you, all right? But at any rate, I say basically because it's not actually the factory pattern, but that doesn't matter for now. But anyway, we're going to deserialize that into this category vertex. And then, and I'm going to do some validations, right? I do a lot of validations, right? So is it a vertex? Is it a category, right? Is it has the label of category? And if so, then I'll return a category. And here's where I'm populating the category properties, right? Now, I will say, I was playing around with this a little bit last night. I would love to kind of, this whole vertex.properties doesn't equal null, and vertex.properties.name.any, and then if it meets both of those, I would love to actually kind of automate that some more. I was fooling with it a little bit, and I couldn't find a good way of doing that. This isn't bad, But, it'd be nice if I could kind of get that all together, right? All right, that's what we have, right? And sure enough, right now I can get category, color, and parts, right? So if we go to our little console app that we've got to test this with, oh, that's nice. If we come in here and so here we're coming into our test console app, right? So I'm going to create a Gremlin settings object, with our values. And then I'm going to initialize a Gremlin Handler. And then, here you can see I was doing different tests, right? I was testing a base object. I was testing a category, a color. I was doing two different things with colors. So I was making sure the is translucent was working correctly. And then here you see, like the last one I was working on was a part, right? So I'll do this get first or default of a part, and I give it, my string. And I just you can see this is just this is as simple as you can get. Give it the ID, give it back to me, right? To be honest with you, because I want a part, I really probably should do has label part. All right, that actually would kind of clean up the gremlin a little bit better. This way, it will only return a part. All right, I mean, if this ID happens to be an ID for something else, now the ID it can only be an ID for one thing. But if I gave it a bad ID, right, I could do that. Now, with that being said, I'm not really do much with these. Well, yeah, actually, I probably will eventually, but I can leave it in. It doesn't really matter. Because I'm doing some validation on the flip side. All right, so then I'm just going through here. All this is doing is I just genericize this, right? So this is a little bit of reflection. So, and sure enough, this is a here. Let me actually. Why do I have that so big? This is actually a good point. So sure enough, because I know we've got newer folks in here to C#. So what I'm doing here, I'm doing what's called reflection. So here is a way how I can get property values when I don't necessarily know what all the property values are. All right. So here's what I'm doing. Now I'm doing a couple of things. I'll explain all of this I'm doing. So first thing I'm doing is first line. I'm just capturing what the current foreground color is. Right. I know what it is, but it just lets me do some things. A little bit of protected way of doing it. But anyway, I'm gonna go grab that color. Then I'm gonna create a property info array, and I happen to call it vertex property info. But now I'm gonna do on vertex, which is this return object I got, get type dot get properties, right? And sure enough, that's not what I meant to go to. Go to this. If we look at this, you can see we get a whole lot of stuff in here, right? Some of the more important stuff we get in this property info. So it's literally using what's called reflection. So it's reflecting, in this sense, it's reflecting this part, right? Because that's when that's the get type, get properties. And, it's going to get me information like, the member type, I could do a get method, but can I write? Can I read? Right? So is it does it have a setter? Does it have a getter? Right? Any attributes, a property type. I could do equals. So there's some nice things. But I would say the other next thing we're going to really look at is like the get values, right? So we're going to go further down. I'm getting the max length of all the property names, and I'm just doing that to make it look nice. Again, this is throwaway code, but throwaway code doesn't have, I still want it to look nice as I'm trying to look to see if I got the results I expected, all right? And then I'm going to, I'm gonna go through each of the properties, and I'm gonna get that max length, all right? So that's where I'm getting that max length. Then I'm going to go through the properties again. And you notice I said if can read, right? Because we're, just being cautious, right? And then you'll see I'm printing out the information, right? So here I'm saying property info.name, and I'm doing a pad right of the max length, right? And you'll see what this looks like, but it's going to basically pad it with spaces. And you actually, right now it's going to pad with spaces, but notice I can pad it, I could pad it with ampersand if I really wanted to, right? But the default is padded with spaces. I'm going to change the foreground color back to the default foreground color. And then I'm going to do and look how I have to do this. So on the vertex, get the type, get the property of property info.name, and then get the value. All right, so a little bit convoluted way how you do it. A vertex default. Actually, but yeah. So I mean, that's the way how that works, right? And then finally, we're going to do a dispose, right, to get to clean everything up. All right. So now, if we run this, and assuming nothing changed since last night, and there you go. And there is, I will say, there is no part material. Actually, that's something I need to fix in the importer because it's apparently not importing part materials. But you can see it. I got my we have our user ID. We have the ID, the user ID, the part number, right? So 3005. It's a brick 1x1, category 11, which is bricks, right? And like I say, should say plastic right here, but apparently I'm not getting those in there right now. So long story short, that's what I've got working. All right. So, and then like I say, I've got category, color, and part. So if we look at our domain objects, really all I have left is set and theme. Sorry, I didn't really mean to click on. I do not need to do inventory and inventory part because those actually do not go into the database. As a matter of fact, I might remove these from the domain and make them part of the data import, right? Because that's really where that's happening. It's local to that. But for now, it's fine. All right, we'll go back to that. All right, so let's continue down this path. So we're going to add a class. This is going to be set. We're going to wait for Visual Studio to catch up. I was really hoping, because I have updated Visual Studio, so I do have the latest and greatest preview version. It just came out this week, but I'm still having some issues. But yeah, we'll march along. I was going to call, so this is going to be set vertex. All right, and then sure enough, I'm going to take part vertex, and I'm just going to move it over here on my other window so I can look at it for reference. All right. So, and notice, I didn't mention this earlier. Notice these are internal, right? So again, think about class. I forgot what we call this. Access modifier. So we're only allowing this to be called internally, right? So in other words, only the infrastructure class library will be able to call this. So if later when I create the next level up, it will not be able to call this, right? And that's because this is really local to this, right? This is kind of, this is doing stuff. I want you to go through the Gremlin Handler to get these values. This is basically why I'm doing that, right? All right, so this is going to inherit the Gremlin object base. And then we're gonna do then we're actually going to create another class. And I'll say this is something else I'm doing a little bit different. So I'm having internal class set properties of vertex property base. Okay. I normally really do not like 2 or more class files or classes in one class file. This is the one time this is one of these times where I'm breaking the rules, because this is where it really makes sense to just have them in the same place, right? It actually, some consolidation makes sense. And I should say, this vertex property base, if we look at what this has, it has it has a user ID, rebreakable ID, and name. And it just happens to be that almost all of my, well, actually not almost, basically half of my things, well, a little bit more than half, I guess. I have a part, I have a set of, yeah, because category, color, and theme have user ID, rebreakable ID, and name. The set and part do not have a rebreakable ID. But you know what? That's fine. It's just not going to populate a value. All right, so I'm cool with that. Because, again, this is all internal. All right, so again, we're create this. And this is going to represent the property. So if we look at a set, so set along with ID and name, all right, it has a set number, year, theme ID, and theme name, and part count. And again, notice I still need to do something about the fact that themes can be multi-tiered. I'm still not working up, but that's why I've got that to-do statement in there. All right, so we're gonna say, oops. Okay, we're gonna do JSON property. And I was gonna say, I just realized I didn't explain these, what I'm doing here, and I will. Gremlin property names dot set number, which is not actually in there yet. Internal list Gremlin property part number. I'm sorry. Set number get set. All right. First off, let's fix that red squiggly. Okay, so what I've done is I've created a static class that just has constants with the labels that I'm using. All right, just kind of puts in one place. It helps reduce the amount of hard coding. If I need to, right now I'm only using this one place, but I bet you I'll use some of these things in other places. I know I will use these in some other places. So this will, it just kind of puts it all in one place. If for some reason, like set number, let's say for some reason I change it to capital S, right? I don't know why I would do that. Or maybe I need to say, maybe for some reason I need to see the Lego set number. I don't know. Point is I can change it in one place, right? All right, and then also we didn't talk about the Gremlin property, but this is ID and value, because that's what we get back, right? That's and again it goes back to a Gremlin property can have multiple values, all right? And so so hence we're returning. This is a list of Gremlin properties called set number. Now this line up here, what is this doing? This JSON property name, and then the value, right? And normally, we'll see, you don't normally see it like this. You would normally see something like set number, right? And that's fine, right? But like I said, I kind of like this better because, like I was just talking about, if I ever change them, they're all in one place. So what this is doing, so again, if we look back at that value, right? So set number, that's a small s and a big N. It's Pascal case or camel case. right? You know, but what we want, but you know, typical C# properties are Pascal cased, all right? So, but JSON is camel cased, all right? So basically, what this says is the property name in the JSON is going to be small s set number, right? But here it's capital S, right? That's what that's doing. All right, let me get this created here. So we've got a set number, JSON property, not required. Property name. You know, I really probably should go in here and add my other names. So internal const string year, internal const string theme ID, internal const string part count. Okay, there's all the values you need. All right, so now we're going to say JSON property, property name, Gremlin property names dot, and we're working on year. Now, sure enough, year is supposed to be, it doesn't matter here. Okay, never mind. Never mind what I was about to say. So we're going to do Gremlin property year, get set, property name, theme, whoops, Gremlin property names dot theme ID, internal list, Gremlin property theme ID. Oops. Okay. JSON property name, Gremlin property names dot theme name. I guess I didn't create that. Gremlin property theme name. Okay, and then the last one is and then we're gonna have Gremlin property names dot part count. Okay. Let's fix this. Theme name. Okay. There, that takes care of that. So now, we're going to do this. So we're going to start off with adding JSON property Y. There we go. Property name, Gremlin property names, properties. All right, so this is going to return those properties to us. So internal set properties, properties get set. And sure enough, because I have this, I mean, you know, it's not just capitalization and everything. I mean, I could call it, you know, I could call this set properties, all right? But it would change it. You know, it would read, well, it wouldn't change it, but it would map properties, you know, small p in the JSON to this, right? But I'm trying to be consistent, so that's why I have properties. All right, so we have that. Then we're going to do internal static set deserialize as set. Okay, and then the reason why we got a red squiggly here is because we need to add the using statement. And the other is because this other red squiggly is because we have not returned anything yet. We're going to get to that. All right, so we're going to say set vertex equals JSON convert deserialize object set vertex JSON. Now I will say this. So this is using Newtonsoft, right? Which we were talking about the other night. Newtonsoft is actually really good. I've been trying to go to more and more using what's now baked into .NET, right? The system.text.json. It was having a problem deserializing this. Now, I'm sure if I spent some time and decoded it or debugged it, I would figure out what's going on. But I decided to just switch over to Newtonsoft. I have JSON.NET already has a dependency on, not JSON.NET, of course it has a dependency. Gremlin.NET. All right, Ryan, did you really? I think Ryan redeemed that at the same time I was taking a drink, but it came in afterwards, so I have to take another drink. Which is fine. Yeah, so Gremlin already has a dependency on it, so it's already there anyways. All right, it's not like I had to bring in a library that I wasn't using otherwise. But eventually, I would like to figure out what's going on with that. But it doesn't really matter. It's not. I'm not really. Probably not really losing any performance. Generally, the system.text.json is faster, but I don't think we're going to see any difference here. All right, so we're gonna verify that we got a vertex, and then we're going to verify that our label is gremlin labels set, which I don't have in here yet. I'm going to go ahead and put in theme, since that's the one we have left. All right. And again, this is just really double checking, right? Just to be sure. All right. And then we're going to return new set. Let's try that again. Return new set. And then we're going to set our values, right? So ID equals vertex.id, user ID. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I noticed. Because of the way how I was using this for public string user ID. Because of the way how I was using it for the importer, I was putting the user ID automatically, so I didn't have it in the class. So I needed to add it real quick. All right, so I'm going to do that, and again, oops. This is a little bit more of just really validating what we're doing. Here, I can copy this. So we're going to say user ID equals, so we're going to, and then notice I open up a parentheses, right? So I'm going to say properties is not null, vertex is not, or properties.userid is not null, and the user ID has a value, right? So I'm checking all three of those things. And then, if it matches all three of those things, then I'm going to do, the value is going to be vertex.properties.userid at the 0th position. Because again, this is a first or or default dot value, right? Or I'm going to return the value, all right? So same thing with name, and it, whoops. And then this will be set number instead of part number. A little bit less typing by maybe. Vertex set number. Did I not? I definitely have set number right there. Set properties. Oh, I have number misspelled. That's why. Okay. Or typoed, I guess is really the right way of putting it. All right, so now we still have year. Okay, now here's where we're going to start doing some things. Well, we'll start typing this, but we're going to have to do some more stuff here. So it doesn't equal null, and vertex.property dot year doesn't equal null, and vertex.properties set number dot year any. So there's actually value in there. And then we're gonna have to convert this, right? So we're gonna do int, or I'm sorry, we're gonna do convert to int32, and then we're gonna do vertex.properties dot year at the 0th position. Dot value, or the default value. Now, I'm actually, the problem with this, like, again, because, we could get bad code, or we can get bad data. Probably want to validate that it really is a numeric value. Let's see something. Try, or it can be int dot try parse, which returns me a. I don't know if I can do this. Let's see if we can do something here. Let's do year equals. Now we're going to do all the stuff we did before. And it really, why? Well, and I know we can do. I know we can do this. I'm curious if we can do it the full way I want to do it. Int try parse vertex dot properties dot year dot at 0 dot value out integer year. Year default. Does that work? Well, it sure does. Awesome. So, all right. So here's what I did. I did on the integer, I'm doing a try parse. So what this is going to do, it's going to take this string value, because value is a string, right? So it's going to take that string value, and it's going to try to parse it. It's going to try to make it an integer, right? And so if it is successful, it's going to return true, and in this year value variable, it's going to put the value in there, right? Well, otherwise, it's going to return false, right? So hence, again, so that would be true. And I wasn't sure if I could actually use that out value, but I can. So there you go. All right, so now we'll have theme ID. Theme theme. And then we're going to say, so if those all equal, this should be theme name, not just theme. And if those all are true, then we're going to do, and it's not theme ID, we're on theme ID, or we're on theme ID, not theme name. All right, then we're going to say vertex.properties.theme ID dot 0 value or default. All right, and then I'm going to copy all that. And for the theme name, let's change that theme ID to theme name. All right. And then one more in here, which is going to be, actually, you know what? Let's copy from year, because this is going to be very similar. The year, not year. Oh, well, I copied from year, but part count. And, you know, again, instead of year, we're going to do part count. Now, something I did notice, I'm kind of, oh, okay, well, this would work. Yeah, sure enough, here's the thing to note. So this default, right, and this is why I like using default. If we look at what default does, yeah, within the literal. So this is something came out with 7.1. Right, so it's been out for a couple of years now. But basically, produces the default value of a type when a compiler can infer the expression type. Right. So what do we mean by that? Well, you know, if it's a regular object, it's going to return like a null. Right. But like here, this is a primitive. It's an integer. Integers, because it's a straight integer, right? It can't, you know, it cannot be nullable, right? I can make it nullable, but it's not. So the default will be 0, because that's the default value of an integer, right? So that's what it will do, which really is not necessarily what we want out of that, but I think I think I'm gonna be okay with that. I mean, I was sitting there debating, like, do I change that to be, that to be a nullable? But I think I'm going to leave it as is. All right, so then again, if this other one, return default. If this other one, if that's all false, then we're going to turn that. All right, there we have it. All right, so that's everything. That's everything we need in this class. And then we're going to go back to Gremlin Handler, and we're going to add another switch in here. So Gremlin labels set. So if it's that, we're going to say set vertex dot deserialize as set, and then JSON. And then, sure enough, I have to add this as T, because I mean, if I don't, I mean, it's not something I'm doing optionally. If I don't, we're going to get, we're going to just message that can't implicitly convert the type, right? So this is basically saying, get that, and then make sure you return as T, all right? Which does mean, in theory, it could cause an error, right? But I think that's a good thing, right? Because if I gave it a query that's going to return a set, but I passed in a part, it's going to come to here, and I think it's going to fail, right? But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing for it to throw an exception at that point. All right, so we've got that. one last one to do. We've got not there, right here. Add class. There we go. We went along with that. All right, theme vertex, and basically similar set of code. So in a theme, basically, here we got the parent name. So that's some of the additional fields we'll have to add in here. That's not in the, in our base classes. All right, so we're going to do internal class theme properties vertex property base. I notice I'm purposely doing I have that vertex on there. Eventually, I'm going to be, I am going to want to return the edges, the relationships. All right. At some other point, right? And be able to parse that, right? All right. So forgot to add any more property names. So again, we have ID, rubricable ID, name. Those are all there, but we're going to have internal constant string. Parent ID. Parent ID equals parent ID. Boy. And string parent name. Parent name. Okay, so there we got those. Go back to here. Okay. Gremlin property names dot. We were doing. Boy, I've already forgotten what we're doing. Parent ID. Parent ID. Okay, internal list, Gremlin property, part count set. You know what? This is so darn close. We can just copy this, paste that, and it's a part count. We will have part. Why did I do part count? Hey there, Smack Attack. How are you doing this evening? This is going to be part, not part. It's a parent name. And this, goodness, excuse me, I've got the yawns all of a sudden. Doing really good. Had a wonderful week. Always glad the week is done, but Parent ID. There we go. All right, so now we got those properties in there. All right, now we're going to go back in here and populate this. JSON property name. Theme properties. Okay, and then internal static theme deserialize as theme JSON. I think we could, for the yawns. I don't know why all of a sudden we've got these yawns. see, trying to finish up a project for computer science class. Stuck on it, tried to think about what I need to do to make it work. Unfortunately, I know that feeling well. We'll say this, smack attack. Sometimes it's just a matter of stepping away for a little bit, right? Sometimes that's what we need to do. Is it shouldn't be returning theme properties. This should be returning theme. Sometimes just stepping away, even for 30 minutes, right? Will make a difference. Okay, again, on theme, I need to add in a user ID. Okay. All right. So those three, and then we're going to have parent ID. Oh, well. Well, that's older. Yeah, well, then that's a whole different story. Then that's where you're in crunch and you're going to have to, somehow get it working. This. Why are you giving me problems? The vertex. Oh, because I didn't change this. Theme vertex. All right, so we're going to have that. And then we're going to have parent name. The J option pane. Why? This is giving me so many strange. What do we got here? Vertex theme vertex does not contain. Oh, I know why. Because I didn't do. What did I call this thing? Gremlin object base. That's why. All right, there we go. We have that for themes, and we go back to our Gremlin Handler. We add themes here. So Gremlin labels dot. Did I test set? I did not. We need to also test set. That would be a good thing. All right, so Gremlin labels dot theme, and we'll do set vertex deserialize as set. Not. How about we do theme vertex deserialize as theme JSON ST. All right, so there we go. Now we have all that code. Let's go back to our little console app. And now we're going to do a query for set. Gremlin handler dot get first or default of set g.v dot has label set dot has set number 10246-1. There we go. And yeah, let's verify that works. There we go. So there we've got our set. Yeah, user ID catalog, set number, detective's office. Look at that. That's kind of interesting. We'll take a look at something in a moment. So year release is 2015. Theme ID 155, which is modular buildings. And this one has 2,262 parts. I am a little bit curious about that. The question marks there. So let's take a look here. Let's just copy that. Go here. Run the query here. And sure enough, we got question marks. That's kind of interesting. Let's look at the original data. Sets. 10246, I think is what I was looking at. Nope. Or wait, yeah. Find that one. No, one below. Well, you know what? Let's do something though, real quick. Don't save that. Let's just make sure that sometimes Excel chokes on CSV data. Okay, so Excel has it correct. All right, I'm gonna need to look at that. Let's see what happens when I get this one. Let's see if something happened with that. Now we're supposed to be having code to handle that. Yeah, see, we're definitely getting something a little bit weird. So all right, so something new. Doesn't affect the searching, right? But it does. You know, we definitely. But it will affect. So I'm not going to be able to say has name. Copy that. Santa's workshop. Yeah, see, that doesn't return anything. I do have this the right direction, right? For sure I do. Yeah, okay, I had the right direction, that's for sure. Okay. I put that in. It returns it. Okay, I'm gonna. Obviously, there's a problem there, right? We don't. That's not the way how we want that to work, right? That's That's gonna make searching a little bit hard. So we're gonna need to. What is this thing doing? We're gonna need to look into that. All right. Well, the function that we were looking for is working. It's just that. We're not getting what we're expecting. So Gremlin Handler, get first or default, theme. All right, so on theme, let's do. Why do I have? Not really what I was expecting. But all right. GV has label, theme has rebrickable ID 227. Wasn't that the name of the TV show back in back in the 80s? I think it was the 80s, maybe 90s, with Jack A. Was the 80s, and yes. All right. The things that are just like buried in your head, right? Yeah. All right, so now let's run this one. What's going on here? Well, okay, hold on. Let's try it again. Okay, so here we have a problem. What are we getting back? We're getting a null. Okay, and I'm not handling nulls in here. Of course, this is just test code, but why are we getting a null? So let's take a look there. That is definitely returning something back. All right, so I did something wrong on the theme. That's why we test. All right, let's take a look here. So we're going to go in here. It should return back a theme. Make sure I've got that typed correctly. Yes. Deserialize. Vertex. Theme vertex. Types. Here's where our point was. Okay. Now it does mean the method that I'm testing returned back what I expected. Okay, why do I not have a rubricable ID in here though? Is it not what I just searched for? That's why that doesn't make any sense. I searched for a rubricable ID. That's interesting. It didn't return me the value that I searched against. Also, I don't know why I did this theme 206. I should fix some of that also. Okay, why did it not return me the rubricable ID? Let's take a look here. Let's first look at this. So theme rubricable ID is a string. Okay, so I was just making sure, like I didn't make it an integer and it didn't like the conversion. So that's fine. So go back to set vertex. Oh, I know what it is. Not set vertex. Well, here we can get rid of that line. I know what the problem is, so. Theme vertex. It's because I copied from part that does not have a rubricable ID. Yeah, that's fine. I can copy from here. Actually, we can just copy that one. Change this to rubricable ID. All right. Now run that. And, yeah, there we go. Now we have that 227. Okay. So there we go. Close all tool windows. Let's go ahead and check this bit of code in. So we're going to say finished work on the first or default on the get first or default Gremlin Handler method. Okay, let's go ahead and sync all that in. All right, so now we've got that. Now we can go on to the next piece here. Well, why do I have a squiggly? No, that's right. Oops. Based on recent ads, reversible. No, that's just wrong. Sometimes this Intel search is not very smart. Hey, C-Films, how's it going? Yeah, that's a horrible recommendation. I'm doing good. Why did it want to change it to a or? Oh, well, this is interesting. Look, it's going to say... I don't like that. Let's just keep it the way how we had it. And this other recommendation is just bad. But, all right, we can ignore that for now. All right. So go back to our Gremlin Handler. All right, so now we got first or default. Now we're going to do something very similar for set. All right, I'm going to stand for a little while. All right. Two different projects for your website. So what are you thinking about there, C-Films? All right, so now let's clean this up here. Don't need all these extra spaces. Don't need that. Don't need that. Okay. Public I list. Well, no, we're going to say list of T. Get list. String query where T is a class. Okay, we're still going to do that. If result set any if we're not going to get anything, I don't want to return a default. It should return an empty list. If the query doesn't return anything, it should return an empty list, right? So this will, I think what we'll do here is we'll say, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to have list of T return, right? Or let's call it results equals new. Wow. Okay, one project is a resource page for different Seattle, Washington State, Pacific, and a resource. Okay, so resource page. So like resources, like what kind of resources? I mean, like a listing of media website, film and media websites, or all right. And here we're going to return the results. Okay. All right. Cool. Results not the result sets. Okay. Yeah, no, I think CFOs, I think that'd be a good idea, right? You know, it's help spread the love of film and media within that area. All right, so now in here, we're still going to do. Actually, this is going to be very much the same. To the point of, well, I'm not going to copy it wholesale. We are going to copy all of that. Okay. See, a resource and tip page for how to stream and what is on streaming. Well, yeah, that'd be good too. That would be really good. I'm just horrible at writing articles. I've thought about doing like some articles about like, how I stream and such. I'll have to do something. So I forget the actual date, May 5th, I think it is. Let's see here. May 9th is my, May 4th. Yes. No, I was thinking, when I started streaming, my first stream was May 9th. Wow. And I took on a big topic to start off with. Yep. Cinco de Mayo, Star Wars Day. As a Lego and Star Wars fan, I'm always. I swear I heard the dog come in here. I'm always, I look forward to May the 4th. Lego usually comes up with some nice, things. Which one of your projects should you do first? I would think. Let's take a look here before I say what I think. I would think based upon your site right now. Well, I will say this: which one do you want to do more? Right? I mean, that will make a difference. But with that being, outside of that. When you look at, what your site has on it, I think the film and media website resource page or pages would make a lot of sense, right? Let's see here. So Sleepless in Seattle is the highest grossing movie filmed in Seattle. I'll say false. I'll say true. I'm not really sure of any of these. I don't know. Wow, I was 2 for 3. So just based upon the way how your website is formed, I would think that the list of the list of whatchamacallit, media websites would make sense. I didn't realize the architect was in Seattle. That's the one with No, this is not what I'm thinking of. What is this one? No, well, I got the wrong year. That's this one here. Oh, I'm thinking the accountant. That's what I'm thinking of, not the architect. Yeah, I was thinking of, when I saw the name, I was thinking, I think it's the accountant. Yeah, with Ben Affleck. This was actually a decent movie. I actually enjoyed it. I think they're going to make a sequel to this. Um, at least they're working on a project. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a good movie, right? You know, it's I like the storyline. You know, I thought the plot was a good plot. Um, well, sure, see films. I also love I like the whole part where you know, the one older couple where he does their taxes or their books or whatever, and he's like, instead of a payment, just let me do practice shooting, and he's shooting like from a mile away, or I forgot how far he was shooting. You know, he was shooting from, and the old man's like, "There's no way he's ever gonna get anywhere near that shot." And he's just, um, yeah. Well, I didn't see the theater. I saw it at home, so I didn't have the whoa while driving home. But yeah, who knows if I'll ever get to go to the theater again? I don't know. I saw. No, okay, yeah. I saw. Yeah, I think I remember that because I remember watching it again. I mean, I watched it like a couple times within maybe 2 months, right? You know, it's 2 or 3 months. So you know, of course, you know, Warner Brothers is already doing the whole day of release or streaming their movies. Um, but I saw the news that Paramount is they're doing what are they doing? They're going to do, I think it was 30 days after release, they'll stream it. I'm trying to think of the last movie I saw in the movie theater. I have no idea. I do not go to the movie theater very often, anyways. I generally reserve the movie theater for movies where generally movies that are you know, that are you know, where the theater makes a difference, right? You know, where the sound and the you know, the big screen, all that, you know, makes a difference, right? You know, Star Wars movies are a perfect example, right? You know, makes a difference, right? Average person goes to the movie theater 5 times a year. That's I would say I'm probably, yeah, before COVID, exactly. I was probably 3 to 5 times a year. Because I would say I don't really remember what my last movie. Honestly, it might have been, you know, the last one I can remember was Aladdin. But I mean that, you know, and again, I mean that one, you know, went with you know, with my wife and daughter, right, and we had fun going to that. You know, I can't remember if I. So when did Aladdin come out? Because it seemed 2019. Well, I mean, that's might be then. Well, May. Let's see here. Top movies of 2019. I wasn't really saying the best movies. I was saying the top movies, which are two different things. Okay, well then that was the last one. Okay, I was trying to remember when that came out. That would have been the last. Then that's because I highly doubt I went to go see a movie in January, February last year. So then it would be The Rise of Skywalker. That's why I was looking for the list. Because I'd be willing to bet that. Yeah. No, hold on. Yeah, so Rise of the Skywalker's not in here. Yeah, I like Aladdin, and I like the feminist twist they did on it. Right, it wasn't overbearing, but it was also a good, not twist, but tweak they made to it. Right, it wasn't overbearing, but it actually had a good positive message. Right. Let's see here. At least of the top movies, based upon somebody. Right. Let's do top grossing movies of 2019. Jumanji, I believe I saw on the plane. I definitely saw it. But I think I saw that on the plane, not in the theaters. Here, this should be the list I was looking for. Actually, just trying to think of movies. So let's see. We're talking about 5 films. Let's see how many movies I watched in 2019. I saw Avengers Endgames. And we'll talk about in the theater. I saw Lion King. Wow. Okay. I saw Frozen. I did not go. I still haven't watched Toy Story 4. Captain Marvel, or that's already 4 right there. Star Wars. Okay. I did not see Spider-Man. I've seen it since, but I did not see it in the theaters. So Aladdin, that's 6. I still haven't seen Joker. I want to see that. Like I said, Jumanji, I did not see in the theater. Fast and Furious, I did not see in the theater. I have seen it. John Wick. I don't remember I saw that in the theater or in... Pretty sure I did not see that in the theater. Shazam, I saw on the plane. Aquaman, I saw on the plane. Actually, I still want to watch Ford and Ferrari versus Ferrari. Lego Movie, I saw on the plane. You can also tell I used to travel a lot because you notice all these I said I saw on a plane. There was an Addams Family in 2019. I don't even remember that. Actually, I could make this bigger, couldn't I? Terminator, I saw on the plane. I actually still have not been able to watch Spider-Man. No, Spider-Man is yeah. This is the that's the animated one, right? Yeah, saw that on the plane. Bumblebee I saw on the plane. Gemini Man I saw at home. Spies in the Skies I saw at home. It was actually, I remember watching those not so long ago. Rambo Last Blood I remember watching it at home. No, I saw that in the plane. Let me tell you what. This is a weird movie to watch in a plane. Rambo Last Blood is a little bit of an odd movie to watch on the plane. Let me tell you what. just keep on looking to see any others. I still haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody. I need to watch that. Stuber I saw on the plane. Yes, I used to go on planes a lot. Similar, right? I mean, but I'm sure that Taken ripped off something else. I mean, a lot of movies are just remakes or other ideas, other things. Charlie's Angels I saw in the plane. This is almost more of an interesting thing of all the movies I've seen in a plane in the last 2 years. Yeah, that's pretty much all I remember. And I'm kind of going through this quicker because this is a long list. How many movies are here? Oh, wow, there's 680 movies in this list. Tell you, you almost want to go see this just because it only made $376. Now, it's a documentary, so, right, I mean, so it's not necessarily was a bad movie. Well, anyway. But yes, I used to travel a lot for speaking at conferences. So, hence the seeing a lot of movies on the plane. Plus, I mean, the other thing, in 2018, we flew to Asia, right? Louisville to Hong Kong to Tokyo to Singapore, and then Singapore back to Louisville. So I mean, right there was a lot of time on a plane, just that one trip. All right, so back to this. So this is really the same thing. The only thing we're going to do different is instead of returning, we're going to put them in this list. All right, so we're going to say we're still going to have a switch, and it's going to be the base object dot label, and then we're going to say case Gremlin labels dot category. Okay, just think about something else I need to be able to handle. Yeah, okay. Gremlin labels dot category. So if it's that, then we're going to say results. Results dot add. Excuse me. Category vertex dot deserializes category JSON. Oh, okay. Default. I don't really care about default on this one. I don't know. Default. We're not going to do anything. Why am I still getting? Cannot fall through from one case label to another. Oh. I know what the problem is. Break. Okay, and I should be able to take that out. Okay, then why is this? Oh, and then as T. So same problem, same thing I had to do up there. All right, so there we're gonna have that case gremlin labels dot Color results.add color vertex deserialize as color JSON as T break case gremlin labels dot part results dot add parts part vertex deserialize JSON as T break case gremlin labels dot set results dot add set. I don't know why I drew a blank there. Deserialize as set JSON as T break, and then finally case gremlin labels dot theme results dot add set theme theme vertex dot deserialize JSON as T break. Okay. So there we've got that, and that really should be it. If it doesn't match one of those, we won't add it to the class, and then this will return those results. I can get rid of those. Can actually get rid of these. Just clean up the code a little bit here. All right. So now let's test all this. So let's go back to our console 1 app, or console app 1, right? Let's create another method in here where I have static void test first or default. That's what I was trying to think of. First or default. This will take in a Gremlin Handler. Okay, and then we'll just copy all of that. Well, copy at least this part here. Yeah, you know, actually, yeah, and take this also. And then just to verify that this still works. Test first default Gremlin Handler. Okay. And we should just see that theme that we pulled up last. Again, just verifying. Yep, there we go. That still works. All right. So now we're going to have a static void test list Gremlin Handler. Actually, I'm going to call this test typed list Gremlin Handler because I already know what I'm going to need to do next. Okay, so what I want to do is we're going to say we'll do a list of color. And I really only have to test this once. I don't have to do like all the tests I did before because, you know, it's kind of, honestly, I should probably turn this into unit tests. Even though they are actually heading a real database, I think I think this is a decent enough. You know, I mean, technically it's not a unit test because it's implementation, but I think it's still gonna make sense to do so. So long story short, I'll write a unit test probably over the weekend. All right, so list color colors equals Gremlin Handler dot get list of color, and our query will be g.v has label. We'll just get all of the colors. Or maybe, you know what we'll do? Well, no, okay, let's test that. I'm going to actually do some, I'm going to add another, well, you know what? Go ahead and add it here. Has, is translucent, true. And I'm going to verify that works as I think it does. The T in true might be capitalized. Yeah, okay. And we should be getting 35 objects back. Okay. So we're going to change this to capital T. And then we're going to do, what we're going to do is, we're going to say, for each color in colors, and and in here we're going to do console.writeLine color.name, and then we're going to do console.writeLine and console.writeLine, and here we're going to say returned colors.count colors. Okay, and again, we're expecting 35 colors. So if we run that, it's going to return us the theme. I'm going to let it run. Okay. Let's test. Let's do this one instead. Oh, here we can get rid of all that. Okay, so instead we're going to do that. And this should return the colors. There we go. And return 35 colors. That's exactly what we expected. All right, so that works. Now, that will return me a single list. Now, think about, or a list of a single type, right? But again, let me close that. You know, if we think about the query we were trying to get to, right? This query here, right? You know, here, we could be returning sets or parts, right? And both could be valid, right? Because it's just a search. It's a general search. So what I want to do, I want to go back to Gremlin Handler. And I'm going to have let's see here. Okay, we're going to do a couple things, which means we're going to have to retest some things. You know, which really means maybe I should just go ahead and write a unit test, even before I go forward. Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Let's go ahead and check things in. Added method to return a typed list from a Gremlin query. Okay, I'm going to check that in. All right. Then we're going to add a... Well, you know what I say? I should add a... You know what? No, I shouldn't. I was going to say I should add a unit test. The problem with the unit test, the data could change, right? I mean, if a color gets added, it's going to fail the test. Now, grant you, I can go look at, what happened. But, that's part of the reason why your unit test should not go against those. Now, I can do a whole lot more setup, but then that's also against the unit test. All right, let's just keep with what we're doing. Testing the way we're testing. All right, so this returns me a list. So I want something very... It's not going to be much different. Oh, I know what I was going to look at. So if we look at category. Are they all returning a base object? No. Oh, okay. Which is actually, I think I meant to take off that one. All right, let's do a little bit of testing here. Well, that was something I was playing with. Let's test category real quick, just to verify. This is where unit tests would be nice, but a little bit hard in this case. Okay, I just want to make sure that was still working. All right. What I want, okay, I know what I want. We're going to add a new item of interface, and we're going to have this as for lack of a better name, we'll call it iDomain, iND. And we're going to, in here, if there's a public interface, public string ID, and public string user ID. All right. And then we're going to implement ND, and then that should already be implemented. No errors, right? And in here, I'm not going to put that rubricable ID because again, it's not in all places, right? It was okay on that vertex thing where I'll just throw away the value, but here, we don't want to add a value that is never going to have something in there. That doesn't make any sense, right? So, all right, we're just going to add this. I'm not going to add it to those two. Because again, I'm going to probably pull those out anyways. It's these that matter. Okay. So there, we've got that. Okay, now on Gremlin Handler, what we're going to do is... I don't think this is going to actually work. Let's do public list. I know this is not going to work that way. Or maybe it does. I don't think this works. Public list of IND. Get list. Does this actually work? Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure, but I know why it does. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. So here you have to pass a T, so the signature is different enough. All right, I just wasn't really sure. All right, so because I can tell you what I can't do is public list, say a set get list, right? You know, that won't work because I should get an error. Yeah, type Gremlin Handler already defines member. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
hey there, Josh Rex or Rex. Thank you for that follow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so in here, you know what? This is, I can pretty much copy this. And that should work, right? Now, there's a really distinct difference here, right? This list, this first list, will only return a certain data type, right? So it'll only return colors, it'll only return parts, right? Whereas this can return like parts and sets, right? And we're about to test that. All right, so now we're gonna go in here. We're gonna copy this method. And instead of type list, we're just going to say untyped list. It's not really what it's doing because it is actually typed, but I understand what it means. All right, so then I'm going to actually copy this query here, and I'm going to verify that query works. Yeah, so, and sure enough, we see a part, but you know, if we go down the bottom, we'll see sets.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
All right, well, Josh, I don't know how much more what I can do. I'm already standing. I'm going to be sitting down here a little bit. And then Forever Eldritch, thank you for that follow. All right, so sure enough, we are getting this. And what is our count that we're getting back? We're getting 45 items back. And again, this is like if I'm just searching for 1026, right? That's basically what that's going to do. All right, so so in here, we're going to change this. Okay, here, this is going to be a list of entity. Entity. No. Take that out and paste in the query. And then, okay, so now on this for each, this should be a for each entity. Rename this to search. There we go. Search results. And here, instead of color, we'll say Okay. So instead of color, we'll say search result. Try that again. Search result. Okay, now notice, because it doesn't know what it is, right? What did I only put ID and user ID. I'm going to have to add something in here, which we'll do here in just a minute. We're going to have, we'll just return the IDs for now, or we'll print out the IDs for the moment, because I just want to see it work. And again, we should get 45, I think it was? Yeah, 45 objects. Oh. Well, I was about to say, well, I'm glad I kind of got an error, but I'm not actually glad I got an error. What is going on here? Oh. I don't need that as T. I needed it before because of the generics, but here this is not generic anymore. Okay, and then back to here, and we're going to call this method instead. So let's see that work. There we go. We have a list, and we have 45 items. All right, so, but this makes me realize something I need to add in here. So when I do that, I need to know I need to know, is it a color? Is it a category? Is it, what is it? All right. So let's go ahead in here into iEntity, and we're going to add, I'm going to call this discriminator. Okay. Now I thought about this for a second because it would actually make sense as being called label, since since it's Gremlin, and I could easily call that Gremlin. It's a label, but I am trying to build this so I could actually swap out the the repository, right? So I could do a repository pattern, and like when I do Cosmos. I am doing Cosmos, but when I do a Cosmos core or SQL or document, whatever you want to call it, I have multiple container type or multiple document types in a container. I usually use a discriminator, and the discriminator also makes sense, because it's equivalent to a label, right? So long story short, that's why I decided to call it discriminator, and now I need to add that in here, right? And we're going to do as simple as public string. You know what? I did get set. Let's actually just have this as a get. And then public string discriminator. And then we're actually just going to do... Can I do this? I don't know if this matches theme. Okay, yes. I couldn't remember if that creates a property or if it creates a field, but it must be creating that. All right. So we can copy that. This will be set. This will be part. This will be color. And category. Okay, so now we've got that. Now let's go back to our testing, and let's test each method again. Okay, so that still returns as expected. Just want to verify that. And sure, and you see now we have the discriminator in there, right? Because again, I'm using reflection, so I didn't have, on my printing, I didn't have to add anything in there. Just verify. We're going to verify all three real quick, just to be sure. Yep, 35 colors. And in here we should get 45 items. Yep, there we go. All right, and then based upon that, let me think of something here. Can I make... I don't think I can. Can I make this a static? I don't think I can. Yeah, it's not... It's going to violate the... But if I make... I don't know if you can do this. Okay, I wasn't sure. And then that meets that. Any others now should be... They're not popping up. Oh, okay. There's a reason why I'm doing it this way. Okay, so now again, nothing should have changed. Doesn't change there. Let me test this one again real quick, because here it'd be printing that out. And it should still print out that discriminator value. Yep. Okay, cool. Now, so the reason why I made it static, so in here, we're gonna, I don't, still, well, yeah, switch, switch search result dot discriminator. I get ID. Oh, well, no. So I don't get that value I was expecting. Okay, that's not returning what I was hoping for it. Okay, let's take the static back out. Well, hey, Scott. I'm sorry I did not see you wave. Hey, how are you doing? It's okay. Just chilling. I mean, as usual, you're up late. Hey, Big Nerdius. All right, so I guess what I'm gonna do in here. You woke up at 9 p.m. Yeah, 4:30 in the morning. Yeah. Been lurking and working. I just wasn't sure if if maybe you actually left the computer, right? I mean, that'd be a shocker, right? But all right, I guess what we're gonna do in here is we're gonna add a class. And we're going to call this discriminators. Yeah, I can't. Well, it's because it's a static property, right? So I'm. Hold on, let me just. So the reason is, it's one of those things. As soon as I saw it, I knew that wasn't going to work. Ignore the red squiggles right now. So, search result is an instance, right? Where, and that's why, yeah, exactly. So, all right, well, like I said, this is fine. We'll just do like I've done on the labels. We'll have this static class. Yeah, exactly. Yep. All right, and then we'll have public string category equals category. And sure enough, I'm gonna make those Pascal or camel cased. Color inventory, not inventory. I do not need it on there. Part set and theme. Okay, so we'll have that. And then in here, we're going to change this. So we'll say discriminators dot theme. And then discriminators dot set. Discriminators dot part. Discriminators dot color, and then discriminators dot color or category. Okay, so there we've got that, and now we can make what I was trying to do work. Okay, so now in here. Awesome. That's great to hear, Smack Attack. You know, it's always great when all of a sudden you figure out something that was giving you trouble earlier on, right? All right, so now I'm going to switch on to discriminator. And we'll say case. Case discriminators dot. And in this, I know for a fact it's either going to be a set or a part. And sure enough, like in this situation of testing, I wouldn't want something else. So if something else came up, I would probably just want to throw that result away anyways, right? So I'm going to do, so if it's a part, then we're going to say, console.writeLine. Again, this is just a test. So we can say color, I'm sorry, not color, part, part of search result dot name. Actually, well, okay, yeah, part number. All right. I'll have to break all that. Okay, yeah. And let's actually do part. Let's see here. And then we'll say /t to make this a little bit easier, let's do this. Part equals part search result. Part number. And then we'll say part dot name. Exandra, I'm not sure what you're trying to get in there. What is the biggest project I've ever worked on? Well, I guess one that kind of depends on what you mean by biggest project. Thank you, nerds. So one, I think it depends on your definition of biggest. Let's see here. So probably largest as far as lines of code, number of functionality, that would probably be um hmm well, cheating a little bit, it would probably be a system called CSIM, which is the Cadet Command Information Management System. Cadet Command is Army ROTC, um, and so it managed not all but a large part of um, what Army ROTC did. So it manages the summer training, the money, all that kind of stuff. That's probably the largest application I worked on. Now, I say cheating a little bit because I didn't actually write code in that. I was a senior manager, right? So I managed all the people on that project. As far as next down that I actually worked on, um, I don't know. The probably, I mean, I can think of some things that were definitely run up there. So there's like the chemical research slash robotics application or set of applications. But again, all depends on how you define that, because it was actually a set of executable applications, Windows apps that you would run, but they all ran together, and that thing was pretty darn large. Um, well, and then the system I wrote, the thing that I wrote, probably the biggest thing I wrote single hand. Well, that at least at one point I was single handedly maintaining it, at least, which included still writing large bits of functionality, was called ITAS, which was the Information Technology Asset um, no acquisition Information Technology Acquisition Support System. Again, it's something else I wrote for the Army, um, and that was exactly what it sounds like. It was for buying IT, all right, and it managed like $250 million of purchases every year. And that was a pretty large application, and that was all one application, right? Whereas like that chemical one I was talking about, that was like 5 or 6 different applications that were like a suite. Um, so yeah, so and then as far as largest team, that would be that would be again that well it would be a suite of applications that we were writing for for the Army ROTC. Um, so basically, I was the service delivery manager for HP, and my account was the Army Cadet. Well, essentially Army Cadet Command. So basically, I manage all the custom apps that were built for Army Cadet Command for about 3.5 years. So yeah, that was a lot of interesting work there. I really liked a lot of those applications. Not necessarily, some of the technology wasn't the greatest because we were kind of stuck in some things, but we were writing applications that was giving kids a chance to go to school, right? Because help finding those kids and that kind of stuff. So that was really cool. More important, help them go to school and not have financial debt. All right. Now, I mean, I would say where I'm at now, this is definitely one of the larger systems I've worked on. Um, Trying to think, largest set of data I've had. Um, I don't know. Might be a system called IMS, which was the identity management system. Again, another project. So I did work for the Army for over 13 years. And so IMS actually managed all of the applications for Army Recruiting Command. Initially, Army Recruiting Command, but then Army Recruiting Command got assumed by the Army Accessions Command, which was recruiting and basically HR. Really, what a bold. Well, no, yes, I'm sorry, because I'm mixing this up. We were assumed by Accessions Command, but then we were assumed by HRC, which is Human Resource Command. And so that, I mean, you know, we, not as far as number of gigabytes, but, you know, we had, like, in one table, you know, we had, like, what, 300 or 400 million records. So that's a lot of records. Although I've had larger than that. I don't know. Interesting question, though. All right, so there we've got our part, and then we can really do the same for set. No. I mean, sure enough, Josh. I mean, that's number one. That's why AMA is turned on. And number two, that was an interesting question. Got me thinking about some old projects I used to work on. All right, why? Oh, because it's that right there. All right, so then one last thing I want to do here. This is going to be set number instead. And one last thing I want to do in here. Let's grab. Let's do a console color. Foreground color equals. You know, I'm not really worried about this. Okay. Let's just do. Well, yeah, I am. I want that for a reason. Not there. Right here. We're gonna do console color. Foreground color equals console dot foreground. Okay, and then we're gonna do so here we're gonna say, so if it's a part, we're gonna say console foreground color equals, and we'll make it why not cyan. And if it's a set, actually, you know what? We'll make it red. And if it's a we'll make it yellow. And then here, console color, foreground color equals foreground color. So we're just going to change it back to, it'll change it back to that white. All right, so now let's see what we have. So basically, you know, if it's a part, it'll show in red. If it's a color set, it should show in yellow. It's not going to actually mix them up. I could sort it and, you know, mix it up, I guess, but we're not worried about that. Okay. Unable to connect to remote server. Ooh, well, that's not good. See if that was just a glitch. Okay, that was definitely just a glitch. And I guess go back to program. Yeah, it would help if I call the method I'm trying to test. Now, well, that's wrong, but that's just a wrong text. But there you go. We've got parts and we've got sets, right? And these are anything that matches that contains, because that was and it was 1026, right? And basically I searched set number, part number, and name, right? Most of the, well, actually there are a couple of these sets that follow that, or parts. There's actually 4 of those, but then the others are 5. The others are because they're in the name, and then the sets are all because they're in, somewhere in the set number. All right, cool. Although we were talking about this the other day, this search is not probably what I want to do for reals. All right, I'm just kind of curious here. Okay, just... all right, so we'll go to Portal. I thought I clicked the Enter key there. Guess I didn't. And if we go to all right, Cosmos account... not speaking engagements. So if we go in here, if we run this query, we will see that, well, this one's not bad. Oh, I know. Yeah. So this one's not bad. 98. I can live with that, right? But we take out one more number. So if we allow them to search by 3 numbers, we get a hit of 224 RUs. Actually, I thought we were hitting like close to 1,000 the other night. But at any rate, it's getting to be more and more expensive, right? And we definitely want to be cognizant of that, right? These are the things that people usually don't think about when they move to Cosmos, right? Is these queries, maybe is this really what I want someone to do, right? Maybe not, right? Maybe and that's what we were talking about. Maybe, oh well, the results come back, so that's not the problem, right? That's where Cosmos, excels, right? So sure enough, I mean the results. I think it tells me. No, there is a way to get the the number of milliseconds it took to get the results, but I have to get that a different way. It'll be fast, no questions about it. I'm only returning. Let's take a look here. Let's go to this. Oh, how did that query actually work? Oh, never mind. Oh, never mind. I'm looking at this wrong. Okay. Yeah, if we return this, copy this. Let's see how big. I know it's 45 records, right? But it's character count. I don't know, I'm just picking something here. So that was essentially 43K, right? So it's really not that much it's returning, right, in reality. But this here, so this is the number of RUs, because it's counting all the different, because basically this is having to do 3 different searches to do this. Now, where it could make sense, where I could do like a name containing, but probably and I'm kind of curious what the difference would be if I did a starting. I think it's starting with. So it was 224. Yeah, look, we go to 85, right? And that's really what we're looking for. And I'd be willing to bet Well, it's going to come up with a little bit less. Well, it actually came up with more. Oh, never mind. 1026. 1026. Yeah, 18. I was going to say, I knew it was going to come up with a little bit less. But that's probably really what they're looking for. I would think. I would think if you're, if we go to a website like where we can search for things, right? 1026. Let's see here. 102. Let's see like what they're doing. Like parts. I don't know how in the world. Let's look at something I look at more often when I'm just doing searches. 102. Well, that's what I search for. Yeah, like you notice, it returned a total of 37, but they have more stuff than I do, right? There's books, there's instructions, but it returned four parts. 102. So 102's there, 102's there, 102's there, and 102's there. So that's where the 4 parts. It was all in the name. The sets. Yeah, you can see they did starting with. But actually, that's interesting. Well, anyway, I think that actually will make more sense once we get to that point. I mean, right now we're just writing the methods to actually be able to do these queries. All right, so I'm just thinking, is there anything else I need with this Gremlin Handler at this point, other than to add some documentation? Probably not. We have ability to get list. We have the ability to get first or default. In my head a little bit earlier, I was thinking, do I want to be able to return a, like a get dictionary? But to be honest with you, I think I just let, if that's what a consumer wants, let's just take the list and, because that's all I'm going to do anyways, is I'm going to get a list and I could do it slightly faster, but I don't know how much value that is. Let's see here. Let's just write that. Let's check this code in first. Added method to get a non-typed list from a Gremlin query. And again, that's not 100% accurate comment, but it's close enough. All right, so now let's think about this. Because I might just throw this away. Public dictionary. So what would this return? I guess it would return a string and an identity. Maybe this would be valuable. Get dictionary. This would actually be a little bit faster, I think. So string query. And again, we're gonna see. We're gonna do that method. Dictionary, string, identity. Results equals new. And then I could say, then run my query. And you're going to have that. And you're going to have all of that is going to be the same. Actually, all the way up to here is going to be the same. Actually, this is going to be close enough. I can pretty much copy this. Okay, and then we're going to say results.add. Yeah, and we're going to do discriminators.category. And then category vertex deserialize as category JSON. Oops. So copy that. Now I'm going to need to change those values I'm getting out of discriminators. Color, part, set, and whoops, and theme. Right? And that's all I should have to do. And then, like I said, this might actually have some value. Actually, I might end up using this more than I use the get list. Now if we go back to our little test program here, copy this, and we're going to test dictionary. Okay, so this will be a dictionary string IND, and this will be get dictionary. Okay, and then in here, let's for each one here, and grant you, it's already sorted by parts, just because. But eventually, that's just because of the way how we inserted everything in there. But if we do something like key value pair string identity. Key value pair in search result. And actually, instead of key value pair, let's call it a search result. And then in here, we would do, we still do a switch, search result dot value dot discriminator. And then really this is going to be the same here, or mostly. The thing that's going to change is right here. This will be part search result dot value. Case. Here, let's just copy that. And then, like I say, we'll search result dot value, and then dot value. Did this really make anything different, though? I don't know. Maybe I didn't really gain anything by doing this. Well, I do. No, here's what I gain out of this, right? I think I accidentally added too many brackets in there. What I gain out of this, you don't see it in here, right? Well, let's test this, and I'll talk about what we'll gain. So if I run this, we're going to have an error. An item with the same key. Oh, yeah. If results dot if results dot contains key discriminators dot category. Else results dot add not dot add results discriminators category dot add just realize what's wrong here. This can't be just an identity. This needs to be a list of identity. Then I can then here let's say new list identity like that. Add like so. Right. Okay. But what I probably want to do, instead of calling this twice, let's do category equals or category equals category vertex dot deserializes category JSON. All right, and then oops, in here we have category. Oops, category, and the same thing down here. All right. Again, just making that code just a little bit simpler. Actually, add a line of code, but you know, sometimes more code is good. All right, and then let's do it like that. Okay, and then this will be theme, not theme, color, and you know what? Actually, let's do this. No, that was a good idea. The way how I had it. Color, and then color. Oh, color. There we go. You got to change in quite a few places. All right, so this will be part. Hold on just a second there, Matthew. I do see your comment, but just a second. Let me just get all this typed. Part. Oh. Part. Okay. Set. Not SETI. Set. Well, that needs to change. Color. Set. Okay, last one here. Theme. So let's just theme vertex, theme, and theme. And we need to do this here also. Okay, so let's see here. So the dictionary method is splitting up the big list into buckets of each entity type. Yes, exactly. What design pattern is this component adhering to? Off the top of my head, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I don't. As a general, well, I mean, it's adhering to repository pattern because I mean, this is implementing. This is the repository for a Gremlin database. I could write something similar to do what we need to do in a document database or a SQL database or what have you. So it's definitely implementing that. So all right, so yeah, there we go. That should work. Now I'll go back to here, and then sure enough, Matthew, I'll go back to more of your question though. Okay, so this should be a list of identity. All right. And again, a list.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
Hey there, dreaded buzzkill. Thank you for the follow. All right, so then, yeah. Why was I searching? Why was I doing that anyways? All right, so and here's the reason why this would give a benefit, right? So I'm thinking again like this search query, right? Where I'm basically looking for parts and sets. But when I show it to the user, I'm going to want to have the parts and the sets separated, right? Because maybe they mean to search for everything, or maybe they did mean to search for it, but it would be nice to separate them, right? And this having a dictionary like this will kind of make it easier to do that. All right. So that's the reason why I'm looking at this. All right. So now I've got that. Now we're look at this again. Switch search result dot key is what I want. I really want this off of the key. See, I wasn't even doing that right. All right. Then case discriminators dot part. All right. And I think this is still basically the same, except for here. Oh, okay, yeah, and here. This would be a for each. For each, whatchamacallit. Part in part search result dot value. Why is that not working? Cannot convert entity. What did I just do? Hold on a second. Let's get that out of there. Let's take this switch statement out of here. Just all right. So you can't operate. Okay. For each statement cannot operate on variables of type part because part does not contain a public instance or extension method for get enumerator. All right, so I guess I'll have to do by entity. And then here we would call this entity. And instead of, we would not be thank you for that reminder, Ryan. I really do mean that. It's funny. I'm dry. I'll be drying out, and I still don't think to get water. So then, yeah, really, then this is going to be the same, right? Like that. Except for this will be of entity. There we go. And there, you got it. And then really this would be the same thing for set. Set. Okay. Oh, this should be set number. All right, so there. Now, validate that works. I am calling this method, yes. Excuse me. Yep, there we go. So there we have our this was our intention. And it's interesting the way how it returns that. It says two colors. Well, color part is just because I didn't change the text. You know, we could say entity types, all right? And then we could have int return. Yes, preview is out, and I am running .NET 6. I'm not actually using any new features yet, and I'm seeing. Right now. I'm just to the point of did anything break? Does this make any changes? So I've been fooling with .NET 6. I still need to actually start digging into the features. Probably after Monday. I'll be attending a session for Microsoft MVPs, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be. I mean, it's not actually the topic. That's not the overall title, which I can't tell you what the title is because the title is NDA. But I think they're going to be talking about .NET 6, right? So after that point, I haven't had much. I've read just glances of what's in .NET 6, like what's in C# 10, but I don't know much more than quick reading. But I'm at least testing that we can compile things and it works. Okay, so return entities equals 0, and then we're going to do. In here, we'll say return entities ++. Return entities ++. All right. And now, if we run that, oh, well, it would help if I actually print that out. And return entities. Okay, run it one more time. Yeah, there we go. 45 entities, which is what we're expecting, and 2 entity types, right? So there's parts and colors. Now, so here's the thing. Looking at, the difference between what this text dictionary and this text untyped list is getting me doesn't really give me a whole lot of benefit, right? In all honesty. But let's write another method here called test dictionary use case. I'll just call this, right? And I'd probably still, the beginning is going to be the same, right? But probably what I'm going to do, because again, I'm going to say, you tried Maui with preview 6 and didn't get to work. Well, I would say Maui's still kind of early. I would expect, preview 2, I would think, is where you're really going to start seeing Maui start working. So what programming language has the most powerful math library? I don't know. All right, so to say, what programming language has the most powerful math library? Wow, McNurse, I have not heard of Wolfram Alpha in a long time. Boy, talk about a name that literally I have not seen in the longest time. Yeah. Yeah. Azure and C# Cloud Cloud for cloud language. Double your cloud. Yeah, so yeah. So that's where I was going to kind of hit back with, right? Are we talking about when we say, when we got the question, what programming language has the most powerful math library, right? So here you go. You can, something like Wolfram would make sense, right? Because it's built up as a math language, right? That's its purpose. Most of the bigger languages, have really good, math libraries that you can use. So, all right. All right, just a second, everyone. No, that doesn't do what I wanted to do. Interesting. Sorry, I'm trying to respond to something here real quick, and I'm not being very good at it. Like, by the time I respond to this, it's going to be too late. Oh, well, never mind. Doesn't matter. All right. What's a real use case, right? So think about, like, when I get to the point of printing, like, all the sets and then all the colors, right? I'm not going to have this for each and then print them out that way, right? What we're really going to end up doing is we're going to do something like, I'm not even worried about those. Here, I'm not even worried about changing the colors. So we're going to do our query, and then we'll say something like, we could say something as simple as console.writeLine parts returned equals search results dot not dot discriminators dot parts dot count. All right. So the point is here, I'm a yeah, there we go. I'm going directly to the object, right? And here, just because I happen to know the parts come before the sets. Because again, just in the way how the right? So I can do something like that, right? Call this method instead, because this is more like what I would be doing, right, with these results. And I'm actually going to make sure it works like I expect. Right, there you go. So 33. Again, it helps if I have the label text correct. 33 sets and 12 parts, right? That's where having that dictionary, kind of makes sense. And the nice part about doing it the way how I did it, it took more code, right? So there's definitely more code in here, because I could, a list. A list. Yeah, bring nerds. I see that. I was seeing how far it was going to go. Oh yeah. So, I could have done this list, right? I could say. It was definitely trying to bait me into an argument, right? And whatever, right? It's too much hate in this world to hate on chat, come on. But whatever. Yeah, so what I'm saying, this is definitely a lot more code than, on a list, I could just do a to-dictionary and use some link. But this is more efficient, right? Because when I initially create it, right, I'm getting it from the beginning, so I'm not having to do that conversion later on, right? So that's the benefit. All right, so that gets me where I need. We're gonna added method to return a dictionary from a query result. Sync. All right, so I'm just trying to think anything. I think that does it for those base methods. I think we could start working on our API. All right, so I think we're okay. I think what we're going to do is we're going to create a folder called services, and we're going to add a class, and we will call this class, we're going to call this class search service. Okay, so public class search service. And in here, we're going to have our constructor public search service Gremlin Handler. Gremlin Handler. Gremlin Handler. And here we're going to say Gremlin Handler equals Gremlin Handler. Okay, so we're going to do it like that. And then I can use dependency injection to get that all in there. So then we're going to do okay. So let's have public, and we so first we're going to return a list of part search parts, and in here string string search term. Okay, and then really all this is going to do is we're going to say our query will equal GV has label. You know, I should do yeah, has label. I was doing it right. Discriminators dot part dot has, and then we're going to do user ID catalog. I really should put that somewhere so it's not hard coded, but we'll leave it as is for now. And then has let's see, how are we writing this? Maybe similar to this or statement here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take out set number, and then we're going to have search term. Okay, I do need to add some handling so I don't get, like, you know, so if I got a single quote in there or whatever, it handles that correctly. And I'll come back to that. Before I finish search parts, I will come back to that. Before I'm done with search parts, let me say it that way. All right, so then we're gonna do, we're gonna do return Gremlin Handler dot get list of part in our query. That's really it. Until I add in the thing to handle the searching better, right? So now the string's better. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so now let's static void test part search, and in here, hey Tech Workbench, how's it going? I still want to pass in that Gremlin Handler. Well, that's awesome. I am too doing well. So we're making some progress here. You know, actually getting this further along. I was gonna say, you know why I'm also having a good evening? I had a really good dinner. Went to a new restaurant tonight. It's just a chain. I don't know how big of a chain it is. What was it? Stormin' Crab? Yeah. This is where we went to eat tonight. It's not massive, but, you know, a growing company. Really good, right? I mean, obviously, by the name, you can tell it's a seafood restaurant. Sure enough, I am, I'm Catholic, and, it's Friday during Lent, so you need to eat seafood. Darn the luck, you got to eat seafood, But yeah, had a good dinner. Really enjoyed the dinner. And it was a good price. Seafood's expensive, so it's always nice you can find seafood for a reasonable price. No, not only crab. As a matter of fact, I did not eat crab. My wife didn't eat crab either. But it is it's like a boil restaurant, where they boil everything. So I got lobster and scallops. My wife got shrimp. Just curious here. Well, here was the location I went to. That's not really helped me. And that showed my house. That's nice. This is interesting. I was looking for the menu because I was going to show off what their menu has on it, but I guess the Storm and Crab. Yeah, the website just is a map of where you can get where you can find them. Yeah, there you go. Boiled Cajun seafood. They're that is not the menu I saw today. Yeah, it's essentially the menu. Although the menu actually shows the prices. But yeah, you pick what kind of seafood you want. All right. So here you can see kind of what they had. Yeah, yeah. I got a couple of Lego friends that are in Canada, and I hear from them all the time about how hard it is to get out and everything. But yeah, no, really, really good. I really enjoyed, and then you can, like this menu is not the same because, there were more flavors, right? So what they can basically boil it with. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it though. It was good. All right, so now we're gonna say search service equals new. With the Gremlin Handler, and then we're gonna say search service dot. We're gonna do. Just notice your writing query a string does. No, it does not. Not natively. There are a couple places, and actually I might add one in here. There's actually I need to look at another one. The one main one that will do that for you. There's a library to do it, but it does not. I was actually playing with it the other night. Or the other day, or whatever it was, it doesn't support the OR that I'm using, wherever that OR is. Here we go. Oh, well, that query would not work anyways. It doesn't support that .or. So I know of another one, but I don't like. It kind of does more than what I want it to do, so So no. Hence why I'm writing them all in strings. This is one of the problems with the Gremlin. Now, I will say there was a library I really liked. It did a wonderful job. They had that Fluent API. Did a lot of stuff I'm having to do, right, with this whole, serializing, deserializing as objects and everything. It did it all for you. And then Gremlin.net, there we go, made some changes, and it broke the library, and basically the maintainer, he was already at a point where he wasn't doing any updates, and he abandoned the project. And I will say, about a year ago, I was looking into the possibility of taking over it, right? Maybe doing a fork or what have you. And I was actually, I still might, right? Because this is kind of a bummer. All right. So we're going to do search service dot. Oh, what was it? Oh, I'm going to get my results. We're going to say list. Sure. List parts. And sure enough, that is one of the parts about, one of the hard parts about working with Gremlin databases. Is they're great, they're fast, they're really good at dissecting and looking at your data, but they're a little bit harder to write code against, right? I have to write more code. Now I will say, if you're interested in looking, there is a very interesting project. Gremlin link. Well, it should be one of the recent ones I searched for. I was just on it the other day. It's not this one, is it? No, this is... I'm gonna have to look that one up. I don't know that one. Hold on a second. Is this the one I'm looking for? No, this is... Yeah, Gremlin. Here we go. Here it is. So there's Gremlin, which actually is a very interesting project. But it's kind of doing a little bit more than I wanted to do. And again, I need to see if it supports like the ORs and stuff, right? So that's why I'm not using this project. For this project. Let's take a look at this one you've got here. Well, that's not what I copied. System IDX. Let's see here. What we got here? Does not support Java. Okay, yeah, same comment. Was this Fort? No. The reason why I started because some of this is copying. Some of this. No. I got what you meant by that. I'm looking at it to see if it's worth looking at some more here. Gremlin Query Builder has ID. Yeah, this is definitely different. For queries that utilize partition keys directly. Huh. Has support for all functions listed on the official Cosmos Gremlin support page, as well as a number of ones listed because this library does not generate bytecode, it's merely providing abstraction. You have to look at this. Like after I test this list, I'm going to take a look at this. I like how everything says was never built. Yeah, well, Gremlin doesn't move that. There's not that much movement in Gremlin, so that's not that much of a surprise. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, Gremlin itself gets updated quite a bit, but Cosmos doesn't change as fast for Gremlin. I'm just curious. Oh, okay. So this is there a package? There is a package. See, that's what's got me concerned. There's an important feature that was added in 2019 that I'm using. All right, well, tell you what, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna give that a try. Like I said, let me finish this piece, just because we're close to this. But then I do want to try that out. You know, see if that could solve my needs. Okay. Parts equals search service dot search parts. Excuse me. And then we're gonna the search term we'll do is 3004. I don't know. I'm just picking a part number that I happen to know. I think I know which one that is. I know it's. I should verify what that is. Whoops. Yeah, the 1x2. That's what I thought. Okay. And then, you know, we can just do for each part in parts, console write line, part number, oops, part number, colon, part dot name. Should only be one returned. Yeah, there should only be one, at least according to Bricklink. But again, I don't know what their query is doing. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Yeah, that's what I thought. So because I'm doing a partial, I'm doing starts with. Actually, I forgot if I did starts with or contains. So we get these extra parts here. And basically, these are all just variations. Well, not some of these. Some of the like these 3004 PR blah blah blah. They're 1x2s that have something printed on them. Is what they basically are. I'm just curious here. So if I was to search for that in Bricklink, what do you get back? You don't get anything back. Interesting, because I know they have it somewhere. Oh well, still makes sense. All right, so we've got that. All right, that's again. Let's check this in. Added method to search parts. And let's take a look at this. This package here. So we'll go here, add. I also just realized I broke the repository pattern on that search service. I probably should do something a little bit different with that. I can fix it. I mean, we can fix it, but NuGet package. That's what I want. Also, always fun when you got a package that hasn't even gone to version 1. All right, so let's see here. How did he say how to use this? So we're going to do a var builder, create a new instance of the Gremlin query builder. You can then start chaining Gremlin invocations on the builder. So like builder.g.v has ID. So it's, again, this has ID thing is a little bit weird. Not weird. I mean, not like, oh my goodness, I can't use it because it does that, but it's just different. All right, so now if we're going to go in here, so let's say like that. And I'm assuming well, I don't see any here, but all right. Well, let's see here. So so then I guess I could do something. Yeah. Okay. So then I guess this could be. Okay, so builder, let's see, builder dot g dot has label discriminators dot part has oh, how is this doing? How's it has working? There's a has ID. For queries that utilize partition keys, these can be defined directly on the graph traverse. Huh? Okay, I'm a little bit confused. Okay, how is this supposed to work? So has, and it wants a params of Gremlin parameters. Where did my... Oh, that's why. Okay. Gremlin parameters. Oh. Parameter. Value. So what do? You do... New Gremlin parameter. I don't understand how that's supposed to work. Identifier. You know, you would think in his README he would have like the most common thing I would do is like a .has, because I'm not going to just search by has ID. Well, that's okay. I'm a little confused by that. Why is it not liking? What in the world? It wants a cannot convert from string to Cosmos DB Gremlin parameter. Okay, that's again this whole new Gremlin parameter. And I guess I could just say discriminators dot part. Okay, but then this has. Okay, let's try this again. So it wants a. Why is it? I don't get why it wants an array of parameters. And where am I supposed to put the? Not really sure what I'm doing, so I'm going to just say new Gremlin parameters, parameter, user. Well, let's just skip the user ID. Let's just go right to. I'm going to start with. I'll just say part number. And maybe new Gremlin parameter. Search term. All right, that's see. So then I would say return Gremlin Handler get list part, and then builder.query, I think it was. Okay, that's going to return me a string. All right, I'm going to see what that returns me. I'm not really sure I did this has correctly, you know, and like I say, it worries me a little bit when you don't document like the most obvious use case, right? That the dot has, right? I mean, that's also that took a while to get to. All right, no, it did it. I mean, I know it's small on there, but G has label. Well, no, G has label. Why is there no? I don't. Does that query actually work? Builder query. I'm pretty certain you're supposed to have V. I know you're supposed to have V. I gotta be missing something. Okay, hold on. Dot V. Okay, that's probably my mistake. Whoops, that's not gonna work. No. I guess just like that. Okay. Okay, and that's my mistake. I should have noticed that. Okay, so now this query, yeah, that looks right. I'm gonna just run this. Where is this one? All right, so execute that. And yeah, I mean, that returns what I would expect it to return. All right. I mean, I can run this and I should get, yeah, my brick 1x2. All right, so now my question though is, does this builder, I also kind of wonder, can I continue to add on to this, right? But let's see here, builder G, whoops, builder.g v, and then let's just say or. Yeah, see, or's not in here. Yeah, and it goes back to, it has been updated, you know, for a long time. Now I am just kind of curious. Let's see here. Let's take a look though, just to see something here. Oh, I have no idea where this code would be. Let's see here. Because I'm noticing that this is more recent, some of it seems to be more recent than the 2018 package. I want, let's see, like, where is that? That is in fluent.functions. So in here, a function, oh, okay. Okay, or is he, okay, I couldn't use the package, I'd have to actually use this one. I'd actually have to bring down the whole project. So, I mean, forget my arguments. I mean, I got a little bit of arguments about the documentation. And I gotta admit, I don't know. I don't know. I know I've seen a better job of building the fluent language on this, right? Because like this right here, this is confusing. I am kind of curious. Am I able to do builder dot has new gremlin parameter? Whoops. Gremlin parameter. And let's just do what was another value inside a part? Give me category ID. Yeah. Category ID. New gremlin property. What did I just say? 11. Is it not what I was? Oh, not gremlin property, gremlin parameter. I'm just curious, is this fluent as in I can continue adding on to it? Or does that reset it? No, okay. Okay, so at least does that. So, I mean, if I was to do this, I would probably do something like, I'd probably do something like that. And then builder like that. And like I say, it looks like, if I bring in the whole project, I could get like the or. Definitely worth a further looking into. I want here. Copy this. Paste this here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to look at that a little bit more. But I think for now, like I said, I'll do some other testing later with that. But I do think it's potentially has some promise. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, right? Because it's like I'm writing a whole lot more than just a pure gremlin. I like the fact that I'm not just writing pure gremlin. I do want. Let's try something here. Yeah, I'm just. It's just like, it's a lot. All right. I like it, but it's just like. I admit I don't like this gremlin parameter, but I get why they're doing it. What I'm curious about. Well, I gotta admit, part of this, a future project, is to go back to my Gremlin ORM, and this is like one of the problems I'll need to solve is this kind of stuff, this Fluent API to do that. Let me look at something. I want to see if it handles. Let's see here. What is that part? I want to find. Bricklink, and I think we go back to parts.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
Yeah, tech work. I mean, yeah. I mean, I would definitely look at an interface or something like that. Hey, Golungi? I'm probably just mispronounced it horribly, but thank you for following. Let's see if I can find this. The one I want in particular. Where there's a... Here it is. So copy that. And I'm purposely getting something that will cause a problem because it's got single quotes, it's got a slash in it, all right? Because if I just say has name like that, right? That's going to cause a problem, and yeah, it's not going to work because I'd have to do this, this, and this, maybe, or is that the way? I'm pretty sure that works in here. Yeah. So then I would replace that with that. Why are you not liking this? Well, let's just see if it fixes it. I'm just curious. I have gotten that to work before. I just have to look again how I did that. So let's go back to here. So I want to let's just make my search term. Just going to override my search term for that. And I'm going to let C# do its thing. Let me just do like that. All right, and then change this to be name. Take that out. Now let's see what it does. Well, one, it definitely didn't like something. I actually meant to have a breakpoint. All right, Ryan, you have an awesome evening.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
And KnownXX, thank you for that follow. Yeah, Ryan, you have an awesome evening. And maybe I'll see you tomorrow night. Did I start this? I think I did. Oh, we were having trouble connecting to the Gremlin server again. All right, here we go. Interesting. It did not do it right. It did try to handle that. Builder.query. Let's look at it. Notepad. We're going to look a little bit bigger here. It just took out copy that. Yeah, interesting. It just took out the single quotes completely. It did handle the backslash, but it just like completely just took that out. Interesting. definitely something worth looking at. Trying to get back here. All right, so let's stop this. Okay, and my computer. There we go. Hey, Loka, how's it going? All right. I'm doing really good. Wait a minute, I'm starting to get a little bit tired. I did not get enough sleep last night. All right. So, like I said, I think this is worth looking at some more and looking at the potential of using it. But for now, I think we're gonna stick. I think we're gonna stick with the strings. Okay. But I really do. I mean, especially like the ads and that kind of stuff. It can really make some things easier. Because I mean, you know. Where? Okay, I'm getting way too many things. Reddit, you have to use Gremlin argument. Yeah, well, they were talking about this Gremlin argument. Well, yeah, well. I gotta admit, this Gremlin argument, I don't actually get what they're doing there. You can then start chaining Gremlin on the builder. So here they're doing has ID with a Gremlin property, but here they're doing. They're saying if I do it as a this is this Gremlin argument instead. Where is Gremlin argument coming from? That must be in. Create a string parameter, single quotes will be. Okay. So what I wonder. I see what you're saying there. What I wonder, though, is this Gremlin argument. I'm not seeing it. I wonder. Fluent. I was checked 2 years ago. It's been quite a while. definitely not Gremlin argument. Yeah. So, but what I've already noticed, the package is older than the code. So it is potential that there's potential that they whatchamacallit, that this is newer than, you know. But let's see, I'm just looking here. Blank. Yeah, exactly. It's not in the latest nugget, which is fine. I mean, I already, if I'm going to use this, I would need to actually, because I would need this, all right? And, which is good to have it. The other library I was looking at did not have this, the OR parameter. What was I looking for? What do I want? I want. Hey there, Harold. How you doing? Gremlin parameter. It's only 12:20. My problem is I was up really late last night, and I had to get up early. All right, Tech Workbench, you have an awesome evening. Yeah, look, so it's calling this sanitize. Sanitize. Remove single quotes from supplies. Wow, this is just purely. That's not all. That's not what I was expecting to see. They're literally, just, for some reason, they're just removing it completely. Why would you want to do that? Oh, really? Loka, that could be. I joked. I'm like, yeah, it's always great when you look at it's something that's never been built. Well, I'll tell you what, I think, let me see. How long have I? Just right at 4 hours. Like I said, I gotta go at least 4 hours. I think I'm gonna wrap it up for the night. And then, because actually I got a couple things I need to do before I go to bed. Just 20 more minutes to go. Well, what's in 20 more minutes? Oh, 20 more hours. Is that what? Yeah, that's in 2 weeks. Well, I don't know why. Yeah. No, and I will say, my wife. I was talking to my wife about this day, and she was like, "You're a moron." But I'm working on the idea. I am working on the idea of doing a 25-hour stream, March 12th, which will be my birthday. My wife thinks I'm absolutely insane. But, I don't think that's a new opinion that she has of me. All right, let's take a look. So, I mean, Calo's on. Actually, C Films is on. Let's see what C Films is doing right now.
VID.
Does look like he's writing code. Yeah, let's go to C Films. Who is a regular here? So he'll enjoy the raid. Come on, if I can get this to work. Raid C Films. All right, everyone. Hey, thank you so much for joining me tonight and all week long. If you've been here all week. Tomorrow night, Bricks with Chad, around 9 p.m. TaleLearnCode will be back on Monday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. Ivan, thank you so much. All right, everyone, and like I say, definitely say hi to C Films. Thanks, y'all.